Hello and welcome back to Geek and Seek. Today I'm going to be doing an in-depth deck review for my Ramos Dragon Engine deck. If you're not new to the channel, you might remember this from episode 10 of our Commander gameplay series where everyone in the group was playing one of my decks and my friend Tommy was playing my Ramos deck. Let's spend some time highlighting some of the key parts of the deck and how it works. Before we get into it though, this video is sponsored by Wizards of the Coast. If you would like to get your pre-orders or orders in for Ravnica Remastered, you can check out my link in the description of this video. Alright, so Ramos Dragon Engine is a 6-mana artifact dragon 4/4 with flying, and whenever you cast a spell, you put a 1/1 counter on Ramos for each of that spell's colors. Then you can remove 5+1/+1 counters from it to add double Wooburg, and you can only activate this once each turn. So we are going to play a bunch of multicolored spells to make Ramos huge, and with Ramos that big, we're going to be able to start killing people with commander damage, and then we can remove those counters to keep the ball rolling. And lucky for us, there are a ton of modal multicolored spells in Magic the Gathering. I am running a lot of the older charms and some of the commands and stuff like that, but to tie it in with Ravnica, running a lot of the guild charms. These are great because they're going to be multicolored, they're going to make Ramos bigger faster, as well as just always give us options. And the fact that most spells like this are instants is also upside because Ramos says activate only once each turn for adding the double Wooburg, but that means we can do it on our opponent's turn, so we can go off and go berserk on our turn, and then we can do it on each of our opponent's turns as well and keep the engines rolling. Now the two main ways that we are able to keep the engine going, these are probably the two most important cards in the deck. First off, we have Whirlwind of Thought. For 1 blue, red, white, it's an enchantment that says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. I think there's like maybe 9-10 creatures. Most of the rest of the deck is non-creature spells and lands, so this is going to help us draw just a ton of cards and keep the wheel spinning. And then similarly, we have Lier, Disciple of the Drowned, which is for 3 blue, 3/4 human wizard legendary that says spells can't be countered, which is sometimes downside because we do have a handful of counter spells in the deck, but most importantly, it says instants and sorcery cards in our graveyard have flashback, and the flashback cost is equal to that spell's mana cost. So that means even if we don't have the Whirlwind of Thought to draw more cards, even if we are running out of cards in our hand, we should be able to keep going. Also, to tie this deck in with Ravnica, I am running the Guild Gates, which everyone knows are not very good dual lands. However, there are some payoffs here that make it good. When I originally built this deck, it was a budget deck, and this was a good, kind of decent budget option, but I decided to just kind of lean into it. For starters, we did get some good gates in Battle for Baldur's Gate, and then we also have cards like Plaza of Harmony, which is a land that can tap for mana of any color that a gate we control could produce, so that helps fix our mana quite well. And then we also have Guild Summit, which is a 3-mana blue enchantment that will draw us cards when we play our gates, and if we already have our gates, it's going to draw us cards right away. And then obviously, because Guild Gates are slow, they're all going to enter the battlefield tapped for the most part. Cards like Amulet of Vigor are going to go up in value because it's going to let us get immediate use out of our lands. And then besides just trying to smack face with our giant commander, we do have Maze's End as a way to end the game. Now, I don't want to go all out on the Maze's End combo because it's kind of an anticlimactic way to end the game, but because this deck is kind of slow, kind of janky, having the backup plan is a nice option. The only card worth mentioning that is really leaning into that win con is we have Reshape the Earth, which, yeah, sometimes is just going to win us the game right there on the spot, but if not, it's going to ramp us a lot. And then if we have something like Guild Summit already in play, we're also going to draw a lot of cards and keep our engine going. So that's a little bit about my Ramos Dragon Engine deck. I will have the full deck list in the description of this video, so you can go check it out and come back, leave a comment if you have any recommendations for other upgrades I could be doing to it. Thanks again to Wizards of the Coast for sponsoring this video. If you want to pick up anything from Ravnica Remasters, you can check out my link in the description. And then if you're new, make sure you subscribe because I'm going to be opening this collector booster box of Ravnica Remastered in just a few days. Maybe I'll find some fun versions of the charms. Maybe I'll find some fun versions of the gates, some fun spicy ways to make this deck a little more aesthetically pleasing. And if you liked this video, here is a link to another one of my recent deck techs of this style that I did recently. And then here's another link to one of our recent videos as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.